Hi, it's Sally again. It's day 2 of Lymphoedema Awareness Week, and today we're going to talk about who is most at risk of getting lymphedema. There's basically 4 groups of patients that are, or people that are more at risk. The first group are those that involve any cancers or cancer treatments. And the reason being is if you've had cancer, you may have an active cancer that's involving the lymph nodes, which is part of the drainage system to regulate the fluid levels. So if there's an active cancer in that area, that's going to affect the drainage and therefore you could get a backup of fluid. And also cancer treatments, if you've had a cancer removed, you've had an incision, they're going to cut through some of those vessels that are trying to drain the fluid, so that's going to have a knock-on effect also. But also sometimes people have lymph nodes removed as part of their cancer treatment, and therefore that's going to have a knock-on effect on their drainage too. The second group of patients that are most at risk of lymphedema are those that have got any medical conditions, chronic medical conditions that can have a negative impact on the lymphatic system. So it's people such as people with chronic heart failure, those with neurological conditions maybe that may affect their mobility. If they're less mobile, they're not using their foot and ankle pump so much, so they're not pushing that fluid from the legs back into the natural system, so they can get what's called a dependent edema, which is where fluid gathers in their ankles and feet. And also anybody that has recurrent cellulitis, which is a skin infection, which also puts people at risk of lymphedema. The third group of people that are more at risk are those that have a primary lymphedema, which is lymphedema that's present at birth. However, it may not become apparent until later in life because they may not be actually born with swelling. And the fourth group that's more at risk is those that have certain lifestyles that put them more at risk. So those people that may be overweight, and that puts extra stress on the lymphatic system. It may be those that lead a more sedentary lifestyle. So if they're not as mobile, they're not moving around, they're not using the muscle pump. And so you can get swelling because of that, because you're not actually increasing circulation and moving that fluid around. It's really important to be aware of the signs and symptoms of lymphedema and who is more at risk of it, because the stats are showing that there's between 4 and 6 people per 1,000 of the population that actually are living with lymphedema, and that may or may not be diagnosed.